Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here today as we honor Lily Lander. Before we begin this morning, I do want to acknowledge that there are members of Lily's family that were not able to be here today. And I would like to make sure that we keep in mind those members of the family who were not able to be here, to be able to be part of this moment. We keep in our hearts her eldest sister, Muriel Chetner, with her nephews, Rick and Shane, and all of their families, and her nieces Esther and Shoshana and their families. Also, her sister Gila Lesky, whose husband is Mark Lesky, with their children Seth and Daniel. These are all members of Lily's family, and it's always hard when we can't be together for moments like this. But even though they may not be here physically, their spirits are here with us. Their presence is here among us today as we give honor to this woman and we begin to remember fully her life and who she was and what her life meant to all of us. And so I did want to take this moment to make sure that we acknowledge the presence of the family that can't be here physically with us, because we are all together. Even though space may divide us at this moment, we are still all here together to mourn and to remember. We begin our service this morning with Psalm 23. Mizmor David, Adonai Roi Loexar, Binodesh Yarbitzei, Al Mehei Menuchot, Al Mehei Menuchot, Yenalei. Nafshi Yeshovei, Yeshovei, Yamchei b'maglei tzedek, Leman Shemo. Gam ki elek begeitz al mavet lo yirara ki ata imadi. Tabaruch lefanai, Shulchan Sorera, Dishanta Vashem Roshi Kosire Vayam. Ach tov v'chesed Piedifuni, Hoieme Chaiai, Veshavti, Bebeit Adonai, Leorech Yami. Adonai is my shepherd, I shall not want. God makes me to lie down in green pastures and leads me beside the still waters to restore my soul. God guides me in straight paths, for that is God's way. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall be my portion all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Adonai forever. As a people, we have always responded to death with two very succinct and direct phrases. And I ask you at this time to please repeat these phrases after me. Baruch,
Baruch,
Dayan,
Dayan,
Ha'emet,
Ha'emet,
Adonai Natan,
Adonai Natan,
V'Adonai Lakach,
Adonai Lakach,
Yehi Shem Adonai
Yehishem Adonai,
Nevorach.
Neborach.
The first phrase means, blessed is the judge of truth. And the second phrase means, Adonai has given and Adonai has taken. Blessed is the name of Adonai. We have always used these very simple phrases, not because we are in any way naive or simple-minded about the experience of death. We use these direct and simple phrases because we understand at the core of our being that we do not understand death. It is inconceivable that in a world filled with such beauty and light and love and grace and mercy, that there also has to be these times of mourning and sorrow, separation and pain. If we are honest with ourselves, truly honest with ourselves, we have to admit that we don't understand death. But we do understand the lesson that death comes to teach us when we have to look death in the face. The lesson is that if we are privileged to be in relationship with another human being, no matter for how long, not one moment of that relationship should willfully be wasted. Because to be in relationship with another human soul is sacred. And we should never take our relationships with each other for granted. Because we do not know when another soul will be called home, and our relationship with that person will change. Change and not end. Because we are also people of faith. We know that there is an aspect of Lily that has survived this moment of transition, and that now dwells forever in the peace, love, and light of our God. And in addition to that, there is a bit of her ikar, her essence, a bit of her light that dwells within each and every one of you. Because when you are in a relationship with someone else, when one soul touches another, a bit of the light of that soul is left within you. You each carry within you a piece of Lily, because Lily touched your soul. And because of that, you never have to be far from her. Because the bonds of love can never be broken. There is no experience that can separate two people that love each other from each other, even the transition of death. And so you carry the best of who Lily was within you. And now you need to take that light and be for others what Lily was for you, so that her light and the best of who she was goes forth from this place. If we can do that, then we don't have to be here just in sorrow. Sorrow is a big part of why we are here today, because Lily's physical presence is gone from us, and for that we will forevermore. But her soul is with us always, and we can always draw her close to us because we loved her, and that love keeps her with us forever. We are also here today to begin the act of sacred memory. We alone, amongst all the animals of creation, have a unique aspect to the way we remember. Because when we remember someone, we draw them close to us. And it is through the act of sacred memory that we keep those that have gone before us close to us. We keep their lives a part of our lives. We help others understand what their life meant in this world. Sacred memory is unique to humanity. It is a beautiful, beautiful gift that our God has bestowed upon us. And so we are here today to begin that process of sacred memory for Lily. And it is with that intent that I call her daughter Charlene to come forward at this time to begin that process for us as she eulogizes her mother.
I guess this is the essence, the part. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. On behalf of myself and Women's Family, I'd like to thank you for coming to honor my mom and support us in her grief. A little bit of history for Mom. Mom was born in Calgary, May 21st, 1934, to Tilly and Saul Forkin. She was the middle daughter of three, beloved sister to Miriam, Cheddar, and Violetta. We are all heartbroken by the loss of Mom, and also at peace at her suffering, especially over the last few years is over. And she is with God, her beloved husband, home, and Dad, and her mother and father. I have to say that family was the most important thing to Mom. She loved fiercely and unconditionally, and she would tell you unapologetically if she didn't like something you were doing, going to do, thinking of doing, or going somewhere she didn't like. If you didn't call her when you got home, or didn't listen to her change of plans for you, she would tell you. This applies to me my whole life. I was a teenager in my 40s and 50s. It also applied to myself, her sisters, nieces, nephews, cousins, and in her later years, sometimes the neighbors' children and the caregivers of the nursing home. It was double love. She worried and loved intensely. When I think of Mom, I always remember her smile and her laugh. When she was able to do this, it was infectious. She truly cared about people and was always genuinely interested in learning about others, their families, their children, the sports they were doing, traveling, their professions. She always loved singing and music. Music was one thing. No matter how bad a day she was having, she would light up and love to sing many old-time songs, Gershwin, too many to call, and loved singing and Greg would sing with her. It just brought her closer to God and at peace. Unfortunately, Mom suffered a great deal from depression early on. In those days, we didn't really understand depression. It was silence, kept silent. And to be honest with you, when I was growing up with my father, we didn't really know what to call that. And as she got on in the years, there was times for years that she did really well and always loving to her family. And sometimes it was crippling. And even through all that, most of the time, if you get her to smile, she was kind to everyone, including strangers. Loved to stop and talk to everybody in the stores. She was, and everybody that knows her, she loved jewelry and clothing and had a great taste. But she would say hello to everybody. And quite often I would notice that sometimes when my mom was saying hello to strangers when I was younger, it was embarrassing. Now that I'm older, I do that same thing. And realize that some people, that little smile for a little doesn't mean they're doing a little better when you touch them. So, it saddens me that Mom suffered in silence a lot of her life. But again, like I was saying, an important lesson we can all take from my mom is that we are enough. Everyone's enough and loves them just as we are. I'm going to end this with a poem. And yeah, I'd like to read this poem. I thought of you with love today, but that is nothing new. I thought about you yesterday and days before that too. I think of you in silence. I often speak your name. All I have are memories in your picture and frame. Your memory is my keepsake, which I will never part. God has you in his keeping, and I have you in my heart. Mom, you're in all our hearts forever, and all the best qualities I hope we will all remember: to be kind and loving to people, even strangers, and especially to ourselves. Say to yourself that we are enough in this moment, in this time, always. My mom would always say, sing, sing, dance, be at peace, help others, and love ferociously. You will always be my subject, Mom, and peace be with you, and I love you forever.
Thank you. Thank you, Charlene, for sharing those beautiful, beautiful and heartfelt words with us today about your mother. Thank you. What a precious find is an Aisha Chayil, a woman of valor. Her worth is far beyond rubies. Her husband puts his confidence in her and lacks no good thing. She is good to him, never bad, all the days of her life. She opens her hand to the needy and extends her hand to the poor. She is clothed with strength and splendor. She looks to the future cheerfully. She opens her mouth with wisdom. Her tongue is guided by kindness. She oversees the activities of her household and never eats the bread of idleness. Her children come forward and bless her. Her husband praises her and says, many women have done superbly, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a God-revering woman is much to be praised. Extol her for the fruit of her hand. Wherever people gather, her deeds will sing her praise. Where would we be without the strong, active women that have kept our families going, our communities going, that have given every ounce of who they were so that their families could succeed. When I hear things about Lily, she was an Eshet Chayil because she was active. That is one of the most defining qualities of what an Eshet Chayil is. Someone who is active, who cares actively about others, who loves actively, who does things actively, who doesn't just sit passively on the sidelines and let life just happen, but who says, no, I have to be a part of the lives of others. And I have to help others through my activity live a better life. The more I hear about Lily, the more I understand that she was that active person who cared and loved so deeply because she truly wanted to be connected to those around her. And that's why this is such a devastating loss today, because we've lost yet another Eshet Chayil. But now we have to go forward and be that active presence in the lives of others. That's a high bar, but if Lily can do it, then we can do it. Especially when you think of some of the issues that she did have during her life. Even those issues would not stop her from being active and connected and a part of the lives of others. And so that's a bar I think we all want to strive toward. Because to be able to say at the end, I touched someone else's life, and I was an active part of that life, that can be a really beautiful thing. And so I hope that we will take that aspect of Lily with us today and strive to be connected, to be active, to be part of each other's journeys. If we can do that, then what was once said about the great King David, we can say today about Lily. Because it never says in the scriptures that King David died. It merely says that David slept with his fathers. The great rabbis are very confused by this. Why is it that the scripture that is usually so straightforward and to the point doesn't just say plainly, and David died? Why does it say, and David slept with his fathers? The more the rabbis ponder this question, they come up with a very beautiful answer. David had family. David had friends. The great king touched so many souls. So many people carried a bit of the great King David inside of them. And so they would be able to take David's legacy and pay it forward. Because of that, David's essence, the best of who King David was, would continue from generation to generation. And so it would be inappropriate to say that he was dead, because the best of him would live on. We can say the same about Lily. The best of her will live on because you carry a piece of her with you, and you will strive to be for others what she was for you. And so we can truly say, she is not dead. She merely sleeps with her mothers, waiting for that great and awesome day of our God, when we can all be together again in a deep and abiding way forever. I ask you now to please rise as we recite the El Mole Rachamim, the prayer for the deceased. Tafet kanefei av shchina v'malot roshim u'torim k'zohar harakia masiri et nishmat Leah bat Shlomo v'tova שהלכה לעולמה וגן עדן תפי מנוחתה אנא בעל הרחמים הסתירך וסקרתך לעולמים וצרור מצרפיים את נשמתה אדוני הוא נחלתה ותנוח בשלום על משכבה ונאמר אמן. El Malei Rachamim, exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure. The soul of our beloved Lily, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life. May she rest in peace. And let us say, Amen.